Happy Tuesday morning. I got the day off. Kind of crazy. We are in a pretty serious retrograde till the 20th. Retrogrades are really good, if you don't know, for reflecting and being open to change and being able to reevaluate people, places, and things in your life and what you need to change if you're open to it. That's what the retrograde can bring. A lot of people put a negativity on a retrograde only because you have to do the things that are uncomfortable. Well, you don't have to. You can choose to live how you've been living, or take a good look at the people, places, and things that you're involving in your life and what's gonna move you forward in life. And sometimes you got to cut the baggage. You got to cut people out. You got to cut certain situations out. And following intuition, it's a whole process, but you got to be really open enough to do things that are uncomfortable for yourself. Cutting people out of your life is one of those most uncomfortable things, because nobody likes to do that. Nobody likes to leave people hanging. But at the same token, if you've been around and you have been being an example of how things can be if you take the action to allow them to be, rather than try to force a situation that's not a natural process, and you end up just struggling the whole time. I know you learn a lot through struggles, but there's a time and a place where you got to give up the struggle, if that's exactly what it is, and it's not conducive to moving forward in your life. We have windows of opportunity where we can make those changes in an easier fashion. The process of being open is the tough part, because as humans on this 3D world, we do not like change. And that's probably why I'm so quick to just up and not be a part of somebody's life, because I don't live on the 3D as much as I think I do. And I'm starting to realize that. I'm starting to gauge the people, places, and things I have in my life based upon the next realm, because the next realm is where I mostly live. I am a productive member of the society here in the 3D realm, but at the same token, where I'm at in my heart is not here. So when I see things in my life on the 3D realm that aren't working for me, that need to be addressed, that need to be cut and left alone, I make those changes, irregardless of how much I think a situation is going to help down the road. But as of right now, I don't have time for those who don't have time for me, or for those that don't have time for themselves, or for those who aren't willing to look at themselves and take responsibility for their own actions in their life. Rather than bitching about something, go to the solution. What is my solution? How can I make things better? But those who are stuck in this pre-programmed way of thinking, because we were told this is how it looks when you have a good life, or this is how it looks to be a trustworthy person, and this and that, it's all bullshit. It's been bullshit from day one. It has been a setup for us to be controlled, and it's working pretty well. Take a look at what's going on. Now, if everybody, I mean, we all can't have the same beliefs, because that would be fucking boring, and that would take the fun out of life. But at the same token, if we all kind of stood back and looked at the bigger picture and weren't fearful of change, things would be a lot better. Don't you agree? If you don't, then you're pre-programmed, and that sucks for you. Yeah, so I have been, like most people would say, trimming the fat on the relationships that I have. I'm no longer, it's one thing when you get a friend who's struggling and you have maybe a resolution, but they're not willing to take the time out to do the work. They're just sitting in their own cycle of how they've done things for years, and they stay stuck, and they're miserable. Their spirits are crying. They don't know how. And some of the people that I do know, they like living there. And those are the people that I usually just don't deal with anymore. And I can extend a hand, and I have extended my hand to several people that I could help them out, give them a few tricks to being more grateful. But when they're not willing to do the work, that's when I say, well, see, I just cast pearls upon you, and you decide to throw them in the garbage. That happens a lot with me, because people are not willing to do the work. They're willing to stay stuck. And they're not recognizing that the more you stay stuck, the more you are a part of the problem. And that's just the realism of it all. I don't think I'm better than anybody by far, but I know in order for me to move forward, I have to be around people who are moving forward themselves. I have to have that example. I can't be the person stuck in a group of people that they're just never going to grow, and I'm sitting there, that'll stunt my spiritual growth as well, and I recognize that big time. So I had to trim a couple of people out of my life today, because I realized the relationship wasn't an equal by any means. I was doing all the work to keep the relationship going, and they weren't doing anything. As a matter of fact, I put time and effort into a friend's project, and the guy didn't like it, and so therefore what I was promised I didn't get, because he has to redo the work. And it's a line of work where people think there's a such thing as perfect. And what people don't understand is, here on this 3D realm, there's nothing perfect. I don't care what the mind's eye says. Perfection doesn't exist here. Let that resonate. It don't exist here. Anybody who thinks it does is just pre-programmed once again to think that there is a such thing as perfect. There isn't. And the sooner people realize that, the more lax and the energies will mellow out, because there's no longer people struggling and striving to be perfect or make things perfect. It's a waste of energy. Doing your best is all you can do. Going outside your best, it doesn't really happen. One can think that it happens at a certain point when somebody says something, or you get that recognition, but realistically, it's all in the eye of the beholder. and most eyes are blind. Another thing about me is I can really resonate with somebody, and that body will not resonate with me, because what I do, and I don't do this on purpose, I bring out people's shadow work. I bring out things that they need to deal with. I trigger things in their head that they need to change in their life, and they don't like that, so therefore they back off. They no longer like hanging out with me. I have a handful of friends that don't mind that. They appreciate that. The ones that don't, I just have to cut them off, because that stunts my growth. So if I'm friends with somebody who's struggling, and I might got like something that might help them, and they down that, I just move on, because it's pointless. I spent 30 plus years of my life putting in energy towards relationships that they were just out for their own. They were there for the ride, and the ride only. Once the ride stopped, they were gone. And so therefore my circle of acquaintances who I talk to on a regular has gotten really small. Really freaking small at this point. And, you know, this process that I go through with reevaluating and changing people, places, and things in my life has gotten really lonely. It's gotten to the point where there's only a couple people I can talk to. And when those people aren't available for me to talk to them, then I have to go into self, and I have to remain grateful that I'm still alive, that I'm still here, and that I am slowly reprogramming myself, because I am one of those people that's supposed to, obviously. And maybe that's the key. Some people aren't supposed to grow. Everybody's supposed to be an example of something here on this 3D world. You got the good, the bad, and the indifferent. And maybe it's unfair for me to expect that, or to want that for people, to be reprogrammed, or to think outside of their little box, to get uncomfortable, to do things different. I only do it because it's the only thing that has worked for me. It's the only thing that has worked from all my trauma, with the stuff I've dealt with in my life. It's the only thing that's helped me get past those things and not allow them to create or be recreated over and over again. The definition of insanity, we all know what it's about. And I've been on a journey of figuring out key players in my life, and whose key player am I. And so far, it's just boiled down to the simple fact that I'm my own key player. I'm the star of this movie. And for me to expect anybody to be a co-actor in my movie is just nonsense. The only thing I think I can really rely on is my intuition, and what feels right for me on a spiritual level. And so today is another, I got today off from work, so I got a lot of time to do my meditations, do my rituals that help me stay aligned with my intuition. I do have rehearsal today with Genie and the Lost Boys, so I'm looking forward to that. As long as it happens. There's been a lot of hiccups with that project because people get sick, people live too far away from where we practice. Just all of 3D life's, so-called situations. So hopefully it all works out. We'll get some new songs learned today and figure it out. So looking forward to that. Till then, I'm just kicking in the car. I might go back to bed. The sun is currently rising right now. I'm in a pretty good headspace. And I think one of the biggest things is I'm not expecting nothing. Nothing at all. Any plans or foresights that I might see that I want to happen, if they don't happen, I'm not going to be disappointed because I don't have expectations. People are people. Everybody's different. Life takes everybody in different directions, and I don't expect people to be there for me. So it might sound depressing, but I'm okay with it. It's all good. It really is. So hope everybody has a great Tuesday, and I hope this message gets to you in a way that makes you go, oh, okay, now I see. But who knows? I'm probably shadow banned anyway, so maybe nobody will see this, but it's my own therapy, so I'm good. Namaste to you, because the weirdness in me uplifts and supports the weirdness in you. Have a good day.